Yo, what up? It's your boy Horatiu Zglimbea, aka the Baby Communist, and we're here on the set of The Quick Take, and joining me for the very first time from the darkness behind the camera, cameraman Noah, aka Young Keanu. Noah, welcome to the set. How does it feel?
Give me the worst name possible.
Well, you have to have
Keanu Reeves.
Yep, you have to have that voice, and so you get that name.
Okay.
What does it feel like being on set for the very first time?
Like normal. I don't really see what the big deal is.
Man of many words, our camera guy Noah. We just saw Only the Brave firefighter movie starring Josh Brolin and Miles Teller.
And
Jeff Bridges. Is that who you're getting at? It was a really heavy movie, and I think we have to get right into it. But first, we have to go to the theme song. Welcome back to The Take. So Noah, like I said at the beginning, we just got done seeing Only the Brave, the firefighter movie that just came out. Quite a heavy movie that we just saw. I think you'll agree.
I laughed the whole time.
Oh. But before we move on, let's see the plot synopsis of Only the Brave from IMDb is based on the true story of the Granite Mountain Hotshots. A group of elite firefighters risk everything to protect a town from a historic wildfire. Pretty accurate, I'd say.
They did a great job.
Yeah. So tell me, Noah, what is your initial impressions on the movie? What did you think, you know, off the cuff?
I really liked it. I mean, I was joking about laughing through most of it, but it actually, as dramatic of a movie as it is, it actually is really funny. It's well written. It's well acted by everyone. You really get a sense of all the different, the majority of the firefighter team. You get to know them. They kind of joke around, and they come off as real people, which is really important. Even though you know what the movie's doing, it's really trying to build these characters up because it's just tragic. Of
course, and I have to agree with you. They did a really good job building drama, comedy, making it feel like real people, and like we alluded to and said in the IMDb plot synopsis, it was based on the true story. I don't know from what year, but of
2013.
2013 of the tragic loss of the Granite Mountain Hotshots, and they did a really good job of humanizing it. And after we left this movie, we literally walked to my car, and I was like, how are we going to make this funny? And I think we can't. We're just going to talk about the good points of the movie, the bad points of the movie, not that there were many, and we're just going to do it that way, right? I thought cinematography shot beautifully,
really
right?
good, yeah. I mean, a lot of it was just really, it was landscape shots and stuff like that of big open fields. Are out in Arizona. Yeah. So it's mostly, I assume it was shot, some of it's got to be shot there because some of those landscapes and there's really great shots of, like, you know, the sun rising over the cliffs, and it looked really good. Yeah,
they did a really good job with nothing, you know? You can't really shoot the landscape that much and actually have, you know, a lot of difference in shots, but they did a really good job.
Or just the fire. I mean, there's only so many shots of the fire burning trees you can do, and they do a good job. I mean, from the distance, like, oh, that's not so bad. And then when they really get in there, it's like, they just get blinded and they're just surrounded by it.
They did a really good depiction of fire. It made me terrified of actually being in the flames.
In a forest fire.
Yeah, they did a really good job of making you feel like, other than the heat, you're a part of that forest fire. We even said that, coming back, that we learned a lot about firefighting. I had no idea that they burned half a forest to try to stop a fire.
Yeah, the way you actually fight it. I mean, the movie even kind of, it seems like it's kind of playing to that because it starts with one of the helicopters taking up a bunch of water from some guy's pool and trying to, like, spread it all over the fire and try to stop it. And it just, you can even just see how it does, like, barely anything. It's like, I think they even end up using it as like a dampener or to soften the ground that they're trying to use to shift the trees or shift the dirt. It's not even used to fight the actual fire. Yeah. And they say it best in the thing, they literally use fire to fight fires in the movie.
Yeah, there's no other way. I had no idea that was the actual way. I thought you just throw fire at it, or water at it and hope it stops. But you actually throw fire at it.
And I think that goes to also, at least my expectation for the movie. I didn't see much beforehand, but my interpretation is it was going to be a loose adaptation of like a huge fire that happened, but it ended up like a disaster movie. Like, let's see, like, you know, when a tsunami comes and wipes out this, it's going to be like a forest fire that takes out a whole town or something like that. Yeah. Because I wasn't familiar with the actual fire. that took place there, but it's really just a normal one of their standard operations that just goes wrong. I mean, it's kind of a bad fire, but it's mostly that just a few key aspects went wrong, and just things just escalated in one of the normal fires that you see them put out throughout the whole thing.
We'd say they snowballed, but it actually fireballed. So I don't know. Is it too soon?
That's more of I think that's more tasteful than some of the other jokes.
That's true. But they really made it a pretty long movie that actually humanized the people, like we mentioned, and made you invested in their lives, and actually made you, I mean, while it's sad, even just looking at the statistics, actually seeing them really humanize the people and make you aware of their lives and the trials and tribulations that they faced beforehand, it really sucked you in and made you a part, and wasn't just your regular old, it's just a giant fire.
Let's stop the fires, because I think they realized early on them fighting the fires isn't very cinematic, doesn't play on film really well, because it's a huge process that they have to be going on that just eventually works out. So there's only so many times they can be cutting trees down or shooting flares off. So they spend most of the movie trying to get this status of elite firefighters, which are called hotshots, that they realize that like they want to be taken seriously. They have to do so many of these things. They want to be known at like this and get like the proper funding, I think it was, and all those sorts of things. So most of it, like you said, is about them trying to be better or try to accomplish this goal, and we follow that through Miles Teller's character. As it's a redemption story for him,
being a drug addict
and coming in to try to make something of himself, and that plays into like the whole aspect of the entire team trying to also make themselves heroes and be taken more seriously than just firefighters or something like that.
Yeah, and it was a really good angle to go at, because again, if it was just a regular fighting a giant fire that gets out of control movie, and they kind of made it dramatized, like two of them die at a time, and then one of them gets taken out by something else, you know, by rabid fire, I don't know. But they really did a good job of making it more than just that, and honoring the people, the heroes, the 19 that, spoiler alert, did perish in that fire. And they did the credits were sons of bitches. Good. They put the pictures of the guys with the actors who depicted them, and man, was that a tearjerker! Right? I heard a lot of people sniffing and crying, and it was one of the better biopic type movies that they've done.
I mean, we were talking about that, and normally when adapting real life scenarios like this, real life stories, anything sort of like that in movies, they kind of, it's a hard line to hit because you go too far into it and you play into the fact that it's real life, it doesn't flow like a normal narrative, and it ends up coming across as slow and stilted, and it's like the only other choice they have sometimes is to create fake drama which doesn't fit with the story whatsoever and takes you out of it, as well as could offend people like with this. If they tried to make up some of the stuff, like they don't represent them right, it'd be really huge backlash to that. But I think they did it really good, and I mean, I guess we don't know the full details as to how accurate it is, but it did a really good job of filling it up. It's like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah, almost 2.5 hours, and at points I did think it was a little bit lengthy. I guess that could be the one detractor. My one negative from the movie is that it does drag on a little bit, but you're invested the whole time, and I think they did a good job of keeping us interested and keeping the characters, and the actors did a great job of portraying these characters and making them feel like people we care.
Miles Teller was really surprising for me, because everyone in this I really like. Miles Teller, I've had some rough stuff. I don't like him when he's the leading man. I don't think he's very convincing, but he did a really good job in this.
Good for you, Miles Teller. I mean, thanks.
You have my approval.
Yes, you heard that. Young Keanu gives you his approval. Or Noah. So Noah, what are you going to give this out of 5 whatevers? It's okay, we can edit out this part. Take your time.
I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 flaming bears in the woods.
Son of a I was going to pick that.
Which will make sense if you see the movie.
Well, I will also give this a 4.5 out of 5. Josh Brolin with a handlebar mustache. Movie did a really good job. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was a real good tearjerker. I found myself holding back tears just because I need to be a man and not cry in front of people. So I held them back, and I think they got a home run on this one. Probably some kind of Oscar something to do with
I
supporting
think so,
cast.
definitely. Yeah. Josh Brolin, definitely, I think. And maybe even Miles Teller, they might throw it to him.
But he might win it for Thanos this year, so.
Clearly, yeah, it's the higher caliber role of a giant purple monster man.
Yeah, well. Well, that does it for us here on The Quick Take. Make sure you tune in other times. We're going to be reviewing Suburbicon and possibly some more things later this month and this year. So stay tuned. Keep coming back. Yeah, thanks for coming by, Noah. Thanks for being in front of the camera this time. You did okay. We might let you back on.
I'm still angry at you about the young Keanu thing.
Bye!